It's coffee time. And we had an action-packed day. I even had to make a list for myself so that I don't forget. The list right now says, crying homeless woman, Sherlock outside, failed shopping, fly ninjas. That's so that I don't forget all of the things that happened today, and I don't forget to, like, tell you things so I can look at it and go, okay, I covered all of the stuff. So, let's start at the beginning of the day. I woke up, and I thought, you know what? I have the perfect I tried to do today. I'm totally going to go do it. I'm going to get everything that I need for it. I also need hair dye. So I'm going to get hair dye, and then I can come home, and I'll have plenty of time to film it before this shoot tonight, because I had a shoot at 5:30 tonight. So I was like, all right, perfect. So I woke up this morning, and I had been slightly shamed into vacuuming my room. So I vacuumed and swept and mopped my entire room, and I felt very good about that. And now I can walk around without making that face. So I did all that, and then I go to the grocery store. And one of the things that I needed was parsnips. So I go to the store, I get everything, and I can't find parsnips anywhere. And I was like, well, that's fine, because the last two things on the list are parsnips and buckwheat. And I bet buckwheat will be easier to find at, like, a Sprouts or Trader Joe's, like an organic or smaller store. So I leave with everything, and I go to Sprouts. And I'm looking around, no parsnips, and no buckwheat. So I go, fine. It's either Whole Foods or Trader Joe's next. So I go to Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has parsnips but doesn't have buckwheat. So I buy the parsnip. And then I go to Whole Foods. No buckwheat. I was like, it's the worst. So I run and get my hair dye because I'm close by where I get my hair dye at. Then I come home and I'm like, all right, I couldn't find the buckwheat. Maybe I don't need it, but remembering, obviously it's a cooking thing. It's like remembering eating it before, I really liked the buckwheat in there. Like, it's more authentic. So I was like, well, I should probably find buckwheat somewhere so that I can actually make that thing. So I was like, okay, that's a bust. Well, at least I can still dye my hair. So I go to dye my hair, and it turns out I completely forgot to buy gloves because I have no latex gloves anymore. And I was like, no! So I couldn't dye my hair either. And then, by that point, I actually looked at the clock, because remember I had gone to all these different grocery stores. I looked at the clock and realized, oh my god, I have to get ready to go. So, I get ready. I shower and get into my... I had to look like a spoiled rich girl today, so I got into my spoiled rich girl clothes and went to my shoot, and the shoot was good, but it was very windy, and my hair sometimes doesn't want to do whatever, so my hair was doing lots of this. And this poor girl on set, her job was literally to tame my hair. Like, she was there technically for makeup, but every single take she was showing up and, like, combing my hair for me, and I was like, I'm so sorry, you are the prettiest person right now, I love you so much. But to backtrack, so before I went to this shoot, two things happened. In the parking lot of a grocery store, a woman came up to my car while I was unloading my groceries, and she said, you look like a person who could use your windows washed. And I looked at my car, and I looked at her, and I started laughing, because my car is, my car is always dirty. And it's white, so it looks even dirtier than it actually is. But the windows were particularly bad. And so, yeah, I laughed. And I said, you know, I think that they really could use a window washing. And she laughed, and she said, yeah, you know, I had a feeling. And I said, well, how much would you want to wash my windows? And she said, honestly, I'll take anything. Trying to make rent, so I'm guerrilla warfaring out here and just going places where I'm not supposed to and asking people if I can wash their windows. And I was like, go for it. So she starts washing my windows, and she's just like humming. She's just like, she's got so much energy, she's all peppy. She's like washing my windows, and is hilarious because other people are walking by with their carts, and every now and then she'll be like, hey, when I'm done with these windows, I could come wash your windows. And all of them are like, like speeding by as fast as possible, and every time she just kind of like snickers and keeps doing my windows. It was the funniest thing. But anyway, so I put my groceries in my car and take the cart to the little like cart bin thing and come back. She's finishing up my windows, and I handed her $10. I was like, thank you so much. This really needed to happen, and I appreciate it. I hope you have a really good day. She looked at the $10, looked up at me, and just started like full-on Tumblr gross crying. Like just started bawling. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are you okay? It's everything. And she was like, you're the first person who's talked to me today, and you gave me $10. She was like, this is just amazing. Thank you so much. Like, you just made me really happy. And I was like, I like gave her a hug and was like, have a really good day. And she was like, you too. Have a really good day. And she like walked away, and I was just like, oh my god, I made a homeless person cry today. I was like, oh. It was really cute and really sweet, and I'm glad that I made her that happy. But it was one of those situations where I was like, this looks really strange. Like, talking to a person and having them just, like, sobbing next to me. I was like, I have to go. So, I'm glad you're very happy. Bye. I don't always, I'm gonna be honest, I don't always give money to homeless people. Especially if they seem very aggressive or mean about it, which a lot of times they do in LA, and I don't understand why that is. But I don't know, she was just like so adorable. She came up to me and was like, I'll wash your windows. You can even give me 50 cents. I don't care, I'll just do it for whatever. And I was like, you're very cute, and you seem very peppy, and I needed my windows washed so badly. So, I don't know, it was kind of adorable, but that's what my tweet was about earlier. So that happened. I come home and I had all my groceries. I did buy detergent. Bought detergent. I bought cat litter. I bought all of the things for the I tried. Where am I gonna find buckwheat, guys? I don't know. I thought for sure Trader Joe's would have it. Because Bob's Red Mill has buckwheat. And they carry like all the Bob's Red Mill things. There's like a wall of Bob's Red Mill. And yet. Anywho, so I come home, take everything in, and in the last train of stuff that I'm bringing in, sorry, there's a piece of hair that is just so excited to be in my eyeball. As I'm bringing the last train of stuff in, the cat is right next to the door, and he like kind of pokes his head out the door, and then pokes his head back in. And I was like, you know, Sherlock has never been the sort of cat that runs from me. If anything, he chases me everywhere. Like, he is my legit familiar. Like, don't get too far away from me, because then we'll both die. So I was like, I wonder, I'm gonna let you kind of like snoop around on the porch a little bit. So I opened the door. I just left it open, and he like poked his little head out and then looked at me, and then poked his little head out and looked at me again and goes, like a concerned, confused meow. He was like, I don't know, is this okay? Like, am I allowed to do this? And I didn't like touch him or anything, and he eventually like stepped out onto the porch and then was like looking around and started like rubbing his face against the porch and just kind of sat there. And then he poked his head through the porch fence, but on the side where our neighbors are, and I was like, okay, I don't want you to accidentally get into the neighbor's area, because that's going to be hard for me to get over there. So I like picked him up, and I held him while I walked around in the front yard, and he was just like, this world is so amazing. I brought him back inside, and he sat next to the outside door, the one that has like, what am I trying to think? What am I trying to think? What am I trying to say? The door that is a screen, a metal screen door. So I sat next to that door for the rest of the day, just like, I experienced that world today. But I think that is what caused a universe of flies to suddenly wind up in my room. There's nowhere else in the house, just my bedroom. That made me so angry. I came into my room and I realized there were flies everywhere. Like, God. it must have been 7 or 8 flies. I was like, how did you get in my room? So upset. It's just like, oh gosh, that's what I get for leaving the screen door open. They all flooded to my room for some reason. It's like looking all over the place, just like, Sherlock, can you just try to eat some of these? Can you just, if you could just eat these, that would be great. And he caught a couple of them and ate them. But the most hilarious part was I came in here like, I don't know, like an hour or so ago with juice, and there were 2 flies that were on top of my monitor boning each other. And I was like, oh, that's real cute. It's like, I'm just gonna go ahead and let that happen. But then they fell off of my monitor and into the juice, and they both started like motorboating their little fly wings like all over the place, trying desperately to get out. And I was like, this is, I mean, you were just having a very nice moment, and suddenly it's a very bad moment that is happening to you. So that was happening, and I was like, I'm not gonna try to save you. I'm just gonna chalk this up to like natural selection by juice. And then there was another fly that landed on my cup. I was like, that juice smells good, as like his fly companions are like struggling for life. And this third fly was like, juice, and fell in too. And then there were 3 flies motorboating all over my juice bowl. My juice bowl. I drink juice out of bowls. Also, the fire alarm just tried to go off. Shh, don't worry about it. So, yes. So there's a lot of fly action going on in here. I haven't seen one in a while. Sherlock was chasing one a minute ago. But they aren't, like, everywhere anymore. They were, like, showing up right next to my face all day. It was the worst. It was the actual worst thing ever. But, yeah. Oh, the air conditioner went off. Score. Anywho, that was my day. I think I covered all of it. Let's see. Crying homeless girl, yes. Sherlock outside, yes. Failed shopping, yes. And the fly ninjas. Did it. Nailed it. So that was my day. It was filled with lots of things, don't you agree? Then I came home, and the spaghetti sauce that my roommate had made was still in the crock pot with the crock pot on warm. This is like 2 days now, and I was like, I feel like maybe this should not. I feel like maybe this needs to go in Tupperware now. It's like, I don't think it needs to cook for 2 days. I could be wrong, but yeah. So overall, lots of fun things. I really hope I can find buckwheat. If any of you know where to find buckwheat in LA for some reason, feel free to let me know, because I would love to know where to find buckwheat. Oh, also, on the way home from the shoot, I swung by where I get my hair dyed and got a giant thing. Wait a minute. Got this bad boy filled with 50 pairs of latex gloves. It's not gonna go bad for a long time. I'm just gonna have so many pairs of gloves. I love how I made that sound. Like gloves can go bad. Maybe they can. I've heard before that sometimes old latex gloves will break faster than new latex gloves. I don't know why that is. Food for thought. Google it. I'm gonna go. Hope you guys had an amazing day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye!